Welcome back. It's another Creaky Bloody Gammas battle report. Let's get on with it.
Okay, viewers, welcome to day one of MOAB, a 5-game tournament over 2 days, 2250 points, and round one. So just go quickly over my army list. I was toing and froing about what army to take. I was going to take the High Elves because I just painted up these Sky Cutters and I wanted to use them. And then I thought, well, toughness 3 elves. I thought, the Orcs. And then I thought, no, the Tomb Kings. So I submitted a Tomb Kings list. And then in the last minute, I thought, no, I must take the Great Keef. 5 games over 2 days. So don't want to be stuck with an army that I don't enjoy that much. So no Tomb King Dragon or anything. So the Goblins. And I've got Goblin War Boss here with Wallopers, One-Hit Wonder and the Charm Shield. So he'll go into a unit of Night Goblins. The Great Keef, of course, with his Trollhide Trousers, Talisman Protection and Great Weapon on the Wyvern. Then this guy, I decided I'd try Elementalism. And I've got a Goblin Odd Knob on a Wolf. So he'll be able to run around. He's got the Lore Familiar as well. And if I get into trouble with some infantry, travel Mystical Pathway out of the way. So, because the army's pretty slow, the Black Orcs especially. So that's a plan. Level 4 Odd Knob there, and then I've got a Night Goblin Odd Knob with the Ruby Ring of Ruin. So some redundancy in my magic and magic defense. So if one goblin dies, which happens quite easily, then I've still got the other one for some magic defense. That's the main thing. And they put out some damage as well, or some buffs, or some movement shenanigans with travel Mystical Pathway. So that was my thinking. Goblin Shamans are pretty cheap. The Black Orcs, still got 18 of them, but I've upgraded the banner to the Red Raggedy banner. So they've got Weapon Skill 5. That might help, maybe. And then I've got Squeak Hoppers. Every time I trim points, I lost another Squeak Hopper, so I'm down to 7 Squeak Hoppers. But they're good value, I think. They can do okay. 2 units of 30 Night Goblins with 3 Fanatics in them. One of them's got a Standard, so they're full command. The other one's just got a Champion and a Muso. That one's got the full command. So the Night Goblins form my battle line. Then the Counterpunch, or get rid of enemy chaff, is the Chariots. 90 points each. There's a Bolt Thrower. Gives me something to complain about missing all the time. And there's my Artillery to keep dragons and everything honest. So we'll see how we go. Game 1 is versus Bretonnia. Okay, so I'll quickly go over his list here. I'll just bring it up, and you see he's got a couple of Bombards, one out on each flank. And then he's got 2 units of Peg Knights, 3. One of them has got the Banner of the Zealous Knight. I think that's the Vanguard banner. 10 Peasant Bowmen, 2 big blocks of 10 Mounted Knights, and then 2 Barons. One has got, they're both on Royal Pegasus. One's got Virtue of Heroism, Lucky Heirloom, Syrian's Locket. The other one has got the Exile Vow, Frontier Axe, Grommel Great Helm. Then he's got a Damsel on a horse, level 2 with Illusion, and an Outcast Wizard, level 3 with Battle Magic, and then a Paladin BSB on the Exile Vow, and the Falcon Horn is the most important thing probably to think about there. So there's the deployment. So he's got his Bombards on either flank. I've sort of deployed in this corner. I didn't want him to punch through and then have Pegasus Knights behind me or something. I know this unit here has got the Vanguard banner, so they're going to move up, and then they can pretty much charge anything they want. So I don't know what I'm going to do here. The big boogeyman at the moment is the double Peg Knights, but he's only got 3 in each unit. But he'll have keeps saying Duke or whatever they are, Dukes or Barons. They're Barons, in Barons on each one of these Peg Knights. So it adds some punch to those units. So these guys are going to Vanguard forward, and we'll see what happens on turn 1. And I think the Bretonians are going to get turn 1. So my plan is I've got my artillery hiding behind there, so I'm just giving up line of sight so I can do indirect fire over the top. His bombards will have access to shooting them up my chariots, which is usually what happens. So I should try and hide them better. I'll learn that later on. I just give up 270 points. All right, yeah, 270 points I give up each game, losing my chariots. So I've got to try and get better use out of them. So I'm just going to hope the boys can hold. Leadership 9 from the Great Keith. We should be able to get any of my units to hopefully hold, unless they get wiped out to a man or something, if he gets into a chariot, perhaps. So that's the deployment. I wanted to try and break up his charges with that wood and the building. And those poor night goblins out on my right flank, they're going to have to hold off everything there to protect that flank. Anyway, interesting matchup. We'll see how it goes. So let's get into turn 1.
Let's go. Turn 1.
All right, so turn 1, as expected, he vanguards forward with those guys, and they're going to charge some night goblins. Then he's just using the falcon horn. His BSB's there, so he gets the falcon horn off, so it stops the Great Keith from flying. So that's no good, so he's stuck behind everything. And then these brave night goblins are going to hold this right flank for me. And then the action's going to take place over on the left flank here. So he does charge into my night goblins. You'll notice in there I've got my war boss is in there with Walloper's one-hit wonder and the night goblin odd knob. So there's a lot of points in there. I don't want to lose them. So I need those guys to hold. So hopefully he doesn't kill too many. And I can just pass on a leadership 9 to just fall back in good order. But I need him to kill a few, because if I fall back too far, I'll be off the table. So I don't want to do that. He's just moving up here. Maybe he'll offer me a charge with my chariot into the knights or something, because I remember they do have counter charge. But that's he's just moved up everything. There's his other Baron and the BSB are behind the woods, and the other Peg Knights there. So he's attacking on this flank around the building. So that's what I was hoping the building would break up his charges a little bit. And then into his shooting, etc. So the Peg Knights are in. I've got a chariot lined up here to go into their flank if I can hold. Doesn't really matter. They charge 360 anyway. This cannon's maybe just not going to reach, maybe do a couple of wounds. But this bombard... You'll notice right here I did have a chariot on this flank, and it's not there anymore. So I've lost a chariot on turn 1 to a cannon, as usual. Bolt throwers and cannons, etc. They tend to just pop my chariots. Toughness 5, they're pretty resilient, but only 4 wounds. So they go down to a bombard. And then the night goblins, they hold. Right? I do. I think I do 1 wound with Walloper's one-hit wonder. And didn't do anything else. He just kills a whole bunch of night goblins, and we fall back in good order. Luckily, it's only about 3 inches or something, and they stay on the table, because otherwise they would have bounced through. So I was very lucky there. They didn't roll a 5 or a 6 or something. They would have bounced right through and off the table. So they held, which is very lucky, I guess. Bad deployment by me, putting the Great Keith right behind them. And then in my turn, all right, so yes, I get that chariot into the flank of the Peg Knights here, and I send those fanatics through. So I release the fanatics. 1 fanatic chokes himself, so 2 fanatics go through the Peg Knights, so that's 2d6 strength 5 hits at -3, and he passes all his saves. I don't do any damage to the Peg Knights. This chariot goes into those knights, and before I went in, I got Plague of Rust off on them from my Goblin Odd Knob. So I'm hoping that chariot could just fend off those knights away from my battle lines for a minute. And then I made a big mistake with the other night goblins there. So those fanatics, they let me down. Not a single wound. I think he had a ward save or something after winning a round of combat, something like that. So they passed their armor saves, a couple, only maybe 2 or 3 hits or something. So it wasn't a very successful spinning attack from those fanatics. They let me down badly there, the fanatics. That chariot's bravely gone in there, got Plague of Rust off. Yeah, and this is the mistake I made. I released the fanatics from the other unit from too far away. I should have waited till next turn. I should have moved up and then released them in his turn. Then I definitely would have got some value out of them. So I've made a big mistake. Oh, and here, my Doom Diver fired over here indirectly onto his BSB's head and killed him. So that was a bonus. We had some luck. All right, indirect fire, and then I killed his battle step, which gets rid of the falcon horn. So that's a big bonus for me. So I've had a bit of luck there. And this chariot kills 3 of the knights. The knights don't do any wounds to the chariot, I don't think, and that chariot holds them up. So one chariot's done pretty well. One's dead. This one comes in the flank here, kills a peg knight. That's about it. And then the Baron, Duke, Baron, wherever he is, kills the chariot, which is really bad because the Great Keef's flank is exposed. So that chariot did well. I'm happy with that chariot. That dead one there in the middle there. Those fanatics, that was a mistake. So this is the situation. I used Travel Mystical Pathway to send the Great Keef over the top because he couldn't fly. And this chariot that went in here only killed 1 peg knight and then he died. So he has decided not to follow up on the Night Goblins. So now he's free to charge the flank of the Great Keef with that Baron. So I'm not sure if it's the Killing Blow one or I think it might be the extra attacks one. The Killing Blow one's behind the woods, I think. Something like that. Anyway, he's going to go into the flank of the Great Keef. So the fanatics didn't do too much damage and the Great Keef's flank is exposed. And he's set up over here. So what I released the fanatics from here and they're way too far away. I don't know what I was thinking. Anyway. Hadn't played with them for a couple of weeks maybe, and I wasn't sure what the perfect time to release the fanatics. Anyway, so one group of fanatics has done nothing, and the other ones are just out there, and I released them too early. And I've dropped the Great Keef in it here with Travel Mystical Pathways, and so the Baron here and his Peg Knights are going to go into the flank. So I'm hoping I can hold, and then maybe the Black Orcs can help out. It's a bit of a traffic jam here, but that's the situation. Not good for the Great Keef. I'm just going to have to rely on his tankiness with his 5 up saves and his good armour save to maybe hold. We'll see what happens as we go into turn 2, a big turn 1.
Turn 2.
All right, so we move into turn 2. So it was a big turn 1. Lots of things happened, except not much happened from my fanatics. He's just measuring a charge here, deciding if he wants to go into the other Night Goblins with those Peg Knights. And so he can just fly straight over the top of those fanatics. And then those Knights are going to manoeuvre around the fanatics. So I didn't get any value out of those 2 there. So yes, we're just deciding, you can fly over the top, charge the Night Goblins, and I'll do a stand and shoot, and I think I do 1 wound to them with my stand and shoot. So well done, Night Goblins. That might help them to hang on for a turn, maybe. So, and those 2 fanatics in the compulsory movement phase, they rolled a hit. This one did nothing, and the other 2 spun around and did nothing, nearly hit the woods. So the fanatics did nothing that turn. I rolled a lot of hits this tournament with my fanatics. They just seem to sit there. And then, of course, that Baron and the Peg Knights are into the flank of the Great Keef, so I just have to hope I can hold, and then the Black Orcs will come to the rescue. So we'll see if he can hold off there, and the other Baron's gone into that chariot. So they went into the Night Goblins. These guys manoeuvred around the fanatics, worried about what they're going to do. And that's the big combat. I just need them to hold, need the Great Keef to hold, then the Black Orcs will be in the flank there. And then his other Baron has gone into that chariot to help out there. So that chariot's plugged a gap here, held back those knights, and now the Baron's going to come in there and chop him up. I think that's the one with the Killing Blow, I think. So it's not going to work on the chariot. But the other guy, I think he's got multi-wounds on his weapon. So I still have the Plague of Rust up on those knights as well, because that lasts until the start of my next turn. So it's handy those spells not being remains in play. And then this combat, the big challenge. So the Great Keith challenges the Baron, and he's only got he takes 2 wounds. Only takes 2 wounds in the challenge. I think he loses the combat, I think, and but he holds. So he's going to hold there long enough for the Black Orcs to get into the flank. So that's a big win for me there. The Great Keith hangs on. So that was lucky, and that's the situation. All right, then in my turn 2, the Magnificent 7, I call them. There's only 6 of them there, so I must have lost one. The Squeak Hoppers, they get into the flank of the Peg Knights, because those Night Goblins held on because the Great Keith was close by, lent him his leadership, and they just fell back in good order. So they held, and then the Squeak Hoppers have gone in. His Baron there killed my chariot in the middle, so he just overran into the building. The Black Orcs have charged into the flank of the Peg Knights there, and they're going to save the Great Keith. I think we're just going to wipe everybody out there. The Great Keith's going to fail his test to restrain. He's going to overrun straight ahead into trouble. So that's not going to be very good, but the rescue of the Black Orcs worked. And then the Magnificent 7 Hoppers, they broke the Peg Knights. They ran, and they ran them down. So well done them, but they're going to be in trouble because those Knights are going to come in and kill them. But they did rescue the Night Goblins. So the Magnificent 7 Hoppers have done pretty well. And, well, there's some bad camera work here as I stumble around the table. That's the situation.
Turn 3.
Okay, so when we left our hero last time in turn 2, the Great Keith had overrun, failed his leadership test, overran forward into trouble. He's taken a couple of wounds. He did well to finish off those Peg Knights, but he did have a lot of help from the Black Orcs and the Baron. So now he's going to cop the Knights in the flank and the Killing Blow Baron in the front. Not exactly where I wanted him to be, so Travel Mystical Pathway got him into trouble, and he's had to fight his way out of it. That's the situation there. I still have all my war machines. I'm lucky the Night Goblins have held, and I've still got my characters and so on, casting spells and dropping rocks on things with the Doom Divers and my Rock Lobber. But he still has a couple of big healthy units of Knights and the Killing Blow Baron. I did get rid of one of his wizards, actually, with Ruby Ring, I think I did. So lucky there. I've got a bit of magic superiority. Yeah, that's the Baron with the Killing Blow thing. Monstrous Killing Blow or something. So we'll see if we can roll a 6. Spoiler alert, he does. And the Great Keith will succumb to his wounds. So that Baron does pretty well. The Great Keith will go down. Then these Knights are just going to come in and they're going to kill the Magnificent 7 Hoppers. There's only about 5 left. A Fanatic there does some work and kills 4 Knights, I think. 3 or 4 Knights. So one Fanatic did some work. The Great Keith's about to go down to a Killing Blow. I can't believe it. I haven't seen it before. Monstrous Killing Blow. And so these Knights, they're going to make short work of my brave little Hoppers. And they're going to do a big overrun into the Black Orcs. So probably not ideal for them, because in my turn, I'm going to get a Plague of Rust on from them. So yeah, so the Great Keith's gone. And then a little bit of luck here. All right, so they've overran, a big, long overrun. He didn't want to go quite so far, maybe, into the Black Orcs. So the Black Orcs, I'm hoping I'll get to use my big red raggedy banner. I'll have better weapon skill than them. And I'm deployed a bit wide, so I should be able to hold them off at least. And then a bit of luck here. A Doom Diver over the top, drops a rock, and I kill another Baron with a Doom Diver to the head. So, yeah, I've been pretty lucky. The Doom Divers killing the BSB and now killing another Baron, they've kept me in the game. So I've been very lucky. And now I've got Plague of Rust off on those Knights. So the Black Orcs will hold there. But the Doom Divers have kept me in the game, killing a Baron and the BSB. So pretty lucky. There's only one Doom Diver left now. His bombard might have killed one. And there's my dead pile, which is adding up. All the chariots are gone. The hoppers are gone, but the night goblins are all still alive, and the black orcs are alive, and the odd knobs are alive as well.
Turn 4.
All right, so we get into turn 4, and we get told there's not much time left, so we're not going to get time to go through both of these turns of turn 4 or 5, and so on, to finish the game. So we're going to call it here. Add up the points. He's just charged in here, but we decided not to go through this combat. The Black Orcs are doing well. They still haven't used their stubborn or anything. He's still got his bowman there, but the knights are stuck with the Black Orcs, and he's just got his damsel left alive. Still have all my war machines. I think he's still got both bombards still alive. So we start adding up the points. All my night goblins are alive. There are some. My dead pile's looking quite large, but those night goblins, I used travel mystical pathway and moved them way out there to try and shoot some of his peasant bowmen, so on. Just get them away from all the knights and the fanatics that are spinning around there as well. So those night goblins are alive. Still got all my little odd knobs, etc. alive. And so then we add up the points. And the Bretonnians lost 1446 and we lost 896. That's including the bonus for the general. So we were up by 450 points in the end, so it was 12-8 victory. So we didn't quite get to the end of the game, but that was pretty much the result anyway. Pretty close to a draw. I was very lucky with the Doom Divers, able to kill the BSB and one of the Barons over the game, and the Fanatics did a little bit of work towards the end. So it was a good game. We were a bit slow, me doing filming, I guess, but also a few rules we had to look up and chatting and so on, etc. So, but anyway, on to round 2. So thanks for watching. A victory to the Orcs. Narrow victory. Wasn't a game I expected we would win. I was hoping to at least come out with maybe a minor loss or a draw, at least, hopefully. But the Doom Divers kept me in it, because those characters are worth a few hundred points each, I think. So that was the difference. Like a few lucky shots and rolling max damage with the Doom Divers. So man of the match, the Doom Divers and the Magnificent 7 Hoppers. Right, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for round 2. Round 2, spoiler alert, we're going to be facing Dark Elves with a double dragon. So we'll see how we go in round 2. All right, thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye for now.
Thanks for watching another Creaky Gamers production. We hope it wasn't too bad. Please support the channel, like and subscribe, leave a comment below, especially if they stuff up the rules again. Do it now. Don't let them get away with it.